Guys, good Tuesday morning. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate, life, and the pursuit of happiness. We are live in Charlottesville, across the Commonwealth, the country, and the world, right here on the I Love CVille Network. And I'll tell you what, today's program is going to be dynamite. One of our favorite people on the planet, Joseph Gentile, is in the house. This man, A-plus people, the vice president of real estate at Pearl Certification. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Let's go to the three-shot and welcome our fellas to the show, Keith Smith and Joe Gentile. Good morning, my friends.
Good morning.
You know, I was on the bike this morning trying to think about a naming what this segment should be named, and I came up with, so what do you know, Joe?
What do you know, Joe?
What do you know, Joe?
Joe Gentile comes bearing gifts, and we'll show that shortly.
Sure.
So what do you know, Joe?
Well,
I thought that was a good tagline.
Yeah, I hope I know a lot about a little, and I can bring some fun and enjoyment to the...
A lot about little. So let's do this. For the two people or a couple people that don't know you, introduce yourself, Joe.
All right, Joseph Gentile, Vice President of Real Estate for Pearl Certification. I help brokers and agents bring the energy efficiency of a home to life in the sales transaction to bring that value back to the customer at the time of sale.
But multiple people are saying in the feed that you are A-plus people. John says you are a fine young man.
I'm sorry. Did I laugh out loud? Sorry about that, Joe.
Yes, thank you very much, Johnny.
I have been looking forward to this chat for a while. You're a brother from another mother, and it's just great that, you know, we speak the same language, which... It's a scary thought to some people who's watching or listening to this. But you have in front. Let's start with the gifts that you brought, man. You have. I don't know if anybody can see this. Judah, how's the best way that we can show this box of goodies?
Lift it up until forward. There you go.
Lift it up. Tell me when to stop.
Well, the New Hyde Park peeps will understand. This is Polito's Bakery. This isn't some fly-by-night joint. This is the real deal, right?
So why don't we do this? He is showing. Keep holding it up. Judy will get it on screen. You give us the play-by-play like your Jim Nance or your Joe Buck on what is in this box right here
and how the process works.
Please, Joe
Gentile. There's a process behind this.
Well, there's no. So this is Polito's Bakery's butter cookies.
Okay.
Right. So we didn't go Italian. We went butter. And there's a whole variety here of chocolate chips, sprinkles. We have some M&M cookies in there. I tried to give you guys a little variety. Some sandwich cookies are tossed in there as well. Yeah, they have a whole selection. You go in there and you start picking out. I'll take 2 of those. I'll give me 3 of those, and you know.
Keith, are you eating them right now?
Of course I am. But
he hasn't stopped. Crazy? Yona's in trouble. She's not getting one of these by the time she gets home.
This is, it reminds me as a kid growing up, right? You know, this is what you did on Sunday, right? You went to church. And after church was over, you went to the bakery, and it depends, each neighborhood has their own bakery. I won't say which is best. At the moment, this is the best bakery, just because you're sitting dangerously close to me. So.
And he's a friend of the program. And he's a connoisseur of deliciousness. And speaking of being a connoisseur of deliciousness, is that a good lead into what the Santa Claus has brought to us on the program today?
I don't know. It doesn't get much better than this box.
I mean, Italian cookies. Look what else he's got.
But we also have some Italian bread as well. That we have air sealed for you guys to keep the freshness in, because we can't bring you stale Italian bread. So we have fresh Italian bread for you guys.
Well, hold that up for the viewers, please.
So we have this, and then we also have real Long Island bagels as well for anybody that's.
What are you saying about our bagels, Joe?
Hand that bread over here, brother.
I'm not saying anything about your bagels. Your bagels are terrific. It's cute. You guys do a very good job.
So I'm going to probably.
He's got air-sealed sub rolls here.
This is Italian.
No,
there's a big difference.
Jerry.
My wife, who's from Long Island, literally just chastised me and said, "Sub rolls, get out of here."
Thank you.
That is a sacrilege.
Sorry, sweetheart.
That is a sacrilege. So I'm looking at this, thinking, guess where I'm going after the show? I'm going to Foods of All Nation to pick up some boar's head cold cuts, and I'm going to make me a nice hero on this thing. Thank you, Joe. Love you, man. Thank you so much.
Nice, dude.
Let me see the bagels. Let me see the bagels. See if they're really.
No, these are. Yeah, these
Look
are
at this.
Real deal.
Look at these folks. Sealed, vacuum sealed. What do you got? A dozen?
Yeah, there's a dozen. They're all in there.
Wow.
Did you vacuum seal them yourself?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh, God, he's amazing.
Come on.
I love Joe Gentile. Oh, guys, hammer the like button. Give Joe Gentile some props. Phil Siegel said, "I'll share the video. You can share the cookies. Bring me some now."
Nope.
Alan Dolinsky, is that right?
Sure,
Watching the program, giving you some props as we speak. Joe, it's great to have you back, my friend. How has the start of 2022 been for you so far?
Well, look, for me, it's been great. For Pearl, it's been even better. We were just talking about it earlier. Pearl is growing like gangbusters. So towards the tail end of last year, we added 5 new employees. We have 11 current openings. We're about to add probably 4 or 5 more. So it's been a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun, exciting things going on all around the country, and as well as real estate. So it's been good stuff.
We have quite a few people watching the program. We should take this as an opportunity to reintroduce Pearl
There you go.
to everyone that's watching,
Sure.
and how Pearl's amazing offerings have not evolved, but become even more vertically integrated
Sure.
for the marketplace, Joe.
And add a little bit of a twist to that. Right now, inventory is tight, right? There's not enough listings in there. How can we, as real estate agents, use Pearl's products to help get us some listings?
Well, so what we do. So let's start with what we do, right? Because
I'm eating cookies. You can talk. I'm
Well,
eating cookies.
helping agents capture business is a lot of fun, and we do help them do that. But the main value proposition of what we do is you're Jerry, you're a homeowner. You've gone over the years. You've done certain investments in your home. You've upgraded your home over time. Maybe you've put in a new furnace. Maybe you've put in a new air conditioning unit. Perhaps even a new hot water heater. So if those are energy efficient, or depending on the efficiency level of those, what Pearl does is we come in, we evaluate all those units, and as well as insulation levels, lighting, smart home technology. We package those together for one certification, and then we give a marketing packet to the real estate agent when you go to sell the home, so they can leverage all those features in the real estate transaction. As far as an agent using it to capture more business, look, the reality is most agents aren't talking about this on their listing appointments. So you can differentiate yourself when you're on your listing appointment by asking things like, hey, have you, exchanged your water heater in the last 10 years? Well, you have? Great. What type is it, et cetera.
So why aren't they talking about it, you think? There's a lack of education, or the market? What do you think, Joe?
Because they haven't had to so far?
Well, they haven't been pushed to.
Yeah.
And it's the fear of liability. If an agent really doesn't have an in-depth knowledge of an energy efficient furnace,
Joe, take
do
these
they
away
want to
from me.
do they want to misrepresent?
My wife just said, "Bring me some damn cookies," and she wants to know where this bakery is from, and said, "I've taught you nothing to call those sub rolls." This is her Long Island coming out right now, and it ain't always the nicest right now.
Lauren, we support you.
Sorry, Joe. Finish your thought here, but people want to know about the food, obviously.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
I understand. I absolutely understand.
We done talking about Pearl? Can we talk about
No, we got to talk about
plenty
Pearl.
about food. Trust me. Look, the reason why they're not talking about it's certainly fear of liability. I mean, that's in a
But I
nutshell.
think maybe towards Jerry's point, do they really? Because listings are coming off so quickly. Does this really need to be part of the conversation? And I think it is. And for my opinion, I was having this conversation with Greg Slater earlier today, or yesterday actually, about this, where it's useful for real estate agents. I think if I put Pearl on a home I'm going to sell, which I pretty much know is going to sell in a couple of days, what that does is that helps show my professionalism so that I can get more listings. Because it's still holding 5%, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right,
So
because you got some new information on that,
yeah,
right?
so we just proved out in Charlottesville, we just proved out that Pearl helps the average sales price, and it's slightly higher than our first one. So our first one was at 5%. This one's slightly over 5. It's 5.1, somewhere around there, 5.2.
So it's holding.
So it's holding. It's actually gone up. We just completed a study in another market that it's not published yet, so I can't say it, but that's
Sure.
actually shown significantly higher than 5%. And then we have one that's slightly lower than 5%. So we're really doing great right now. This is, so from Greg Slater's perspective, right? If you
Does he even have
as a
one?
real estate agent, it's your job to properly showcase that home.
Absolutely.
So if the home is energy efficient, it's not should I do it. It's you should be doing it.
Absolutely.
You have no choice. So we've proved out that an energy efficient home can sell for more. Now it's up to the real estate agent to embrace that and go out there and market to their best ability. And Pearl is obviously here to help.
One of the cool things that we were talking about before the show is the brand awareness push to remodeling and existing homeowners.
Yeah.
And how Pearl is now offering guidance, or the value proposition has expanded to existing homeowners and how they make their homes more efficient. Because, and Joe, I'm going to get out of your way here. We all know with a tight inventory, with tight inventory in the market today, folks are having to stay in their homes longer. So if you can come in and offer some guidance of here's how you can keep that draft, as you indicated with a bay window, from impacting you from a bill standpoint, or as you indicated, like the furnace with our family, waking up our little boy in the middle of the night, and then my wife gets up, and then the next thing you know, she's not happy with me, and I love you, sweetheart. I see that you're watching the show here. These are real life scenarios.
She's not going to get past this sub thing.
These are I don't think she is past this, but these are tangible scenarios of how Pearl is improving quality of life.
Absolutely. It's you make the experience. If you can guide someone to make better choices on the home, you're making better, their life in that house better, right? Their life experience in that house better, and as well as improving the environment as well. So I mean, whether you that's the first reason. The second reason, an energy efficient home burns less energy, obviously, and is better for all of us and your children, your grandchildren, etc. So why not embrace it?
I love it.
And look, 5% is 5%, right? Just think about it. The typical real estate transaction is around 6%. If you go ahead and get Pearl certified, it's not that expensive, right? We can talk about how much that costs here in a minute.
$369.
So
It is an absolute no-brainer.
So if I'm listing Jerry's home and I'm paying $369, all the commissions that is paying to sell the house is coming out of your 5%. It's not quite there yet, but awfully close to it on that end of it. So that, from that perspective alone, it makes a lot of sense, and it puts you in a better position so you can capitalize a little bit on the money. Just keep on sliding those cookies that way, because I'm getting super tempted.
I'll take the cookies, Joe. I will take the cookies. You're gonna have to reiterate.
Jerry's job to keep us straight.
You got to reiterate for Nicholas Erpy, who's watching right now, for Stephen Kelstein, who's watching right now, who has ties to Long Island, for my wife, for Grayson, who's got ties to Long Island, the bakery name again.
All right, so it's Polito's Bakery in New Hyde Park. It is
the real deal.
It's the real deal. It's the place to be.
Okay.
And Leighton is giving you some props right now. Dees, who I believe is watching in Mobile, Alabama. Kevin White, welcome to the program. Give Joseph Gentile some props. All right, Joe, Vanessa Parkhill.
Oh, phenomenal.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Vanessa
you don't get to look like this without eating an eclair.
Next time, a request an eclair, please.
Okay, I will make that happen.
I love eclairs.
Maybe 3? Okay, maybe 4 now?
I absolutely love them. Ray Cadell, realtor and broker, welcome to the show. All right, you see markets at a much more macro level than we do.
Yes.
We're in the Central Virginia market. We live it, we breathe it, we talk about it every day here. Macro perspective, can you offer that to the viewers and listeners?
Look, COVID has had such an impact on our business. It's frightening. Like every business out there, right? So I'm not saying anything profound. If you gauge just where it is, so like in the fall, for instance, inventory started to swell a little bit. Everyone's like, okay, great. This is where we're starting to normalize the marketplace a little bit. Next thing you know, Omicron hits, and now inventory bingo goes to nothing in December. Like it dropped considerably. So you sit there and you say to yourself, okay, so for us to get a handle on this, when we can right-size this market for everybody, we have to get our hands around what's going on with COVID. But it has changed everything. Like there are certain things, like we were talking about some of the philosophies that have changed earlier. One thing for me is, out of, I think they said 24, this is Realtor.com, I believe, had it. So 24 out of the 50 top renters markets in the country, or largest metros in the country, it is more expensive to rent than it is to buy on a monthly basis.
We're not quite there. We're not quite there.
We're close.
We're pretty darn close here.
Get your arms around that for a second.
Yeah,
what does that mean? It means that the investors have come in because they have all the money. So the investors come in, they're buying up these rental properties, or they're buying up regular properties and they're renting them out. And it's making it more expensive for people.
Yeah, so you're 100% right. These investors, they're coming in buying all these iBuy houses that Zillow dumped on the market, and they're just gobbling these things up. But you're 100% right. But again, not only is there a tight market for the sale perspective? It's on the rental end of it. There's just nothing out there to rent and buy. But twist it around a little bit. I've just looked at real quickly just a quick 7-day snapshot in our footprint here. We're getting somewhat to a balance. We're around 80 units came on the market in the last 7 days as of this morning. About 90 went pending, so we're getting a little balanced. As you said, a month ago, 2 months ago, it was like 2-to-1, 3-to-1
right.
going pending on that.
But what's going on with COVID right now?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, is it that also? But I've been asking everybody who sits in this seat that's a pro like you, does this feel a little bit like a normal January, February to you? Or is this really just COVID driven at this point?
Or rate driven.
Or rate driven.
Well, I believe, so a couple of days ago when you guys had your show, I kind of threw out the question about interest rates. So the interest rates are what, about like 4.1% right now on a 30-year. So
still cheap.
It's still cheap.
Yeah.
It's insanely cheap. We joked about it when I first started selling mortgages at 12%.
18 for this guy in his first
crazy.
house.
So when
I lose.
But
still increased a point.
Right, but so interest rates go up. You have a lot of people that are sitting on the fence that were waiting to purchase. So there's going to be one last bum rush of people. If interest rates steadily climb, there'll be a bum rush of people looking to just buy the house before interest rates get up to that 5 or 6%, right? So we're probably in a weird spot right now where you're going to see lack of inventory for a little bit. It'll probably be, several months, if not a year. But you definitely, I could totally envision there's a handful of people, like I said, waiting to purchase that have kind of, I'm going to wait for the prices to come down, which aren't going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
And they want to take advantage of, okay, I'm going to bite the bullet, I'm going to go in a little bit over my head.
I had this conversation on Friday, and this is, I won't say who it is, but this is is upper 20s, we need the chart. Is upper 20s still millennial? Or is that Gen Z? I think that's Gen Z.
Is it a new gen 20s that we haven't even discovered yet? I have no idea.
My wife is watching. She says constantly, the question that you guys don't know, the only question you guys don't know is the age and what the demographic is called for that age. Yeah, I believe upper 20s is millennial.
I've got that. I'll let you talk while I look it up.
Is millennial. Okay, so this is the youngest version of millennial. Okay, so this guy works, I won't even say where he's working, but he works in finance, upper 20s. He is making bank. He's working for through an ISP, internet service provider, living in City Walk here in Charlottesville, which is a high-end apartment complex, close to everything. He's working for a firm in DC, Keith. I mean, we're talking, probably north of 300 for take home for this guy. Sure. And he said to me, he goes, I want to stay in Charlottesville long term, but I don't think now is a good time to buy a house. And I literally said to him, I'm like, dude, the prices aren't going to go down. Your rent is going to go up every year in City Walk. You're paying top of the line rent right now. And I can assure you that the prices for inventory will not go down in this market. No, not anytime soon.
Our chemistry is working. So the last time mortgage rates were up over 4, somewhere around 5, was 2018. City of Charlottesville, 663 units sold, 9 days on market, 327. Last year, 2021, 720 units sold, 5 days on market, 400K. So jumped from 327 to 400K in 4 years. Albemarle County is pretty much the same set of tracking. It went from 380 to 328, 12 days on market to 5, by the way, 5 days on market in the city of Charlottesville. Look, double-digit increase year over year, I think is pretty much there. It's done. But we'll be back to this normal 3 to 5 to 6% year over year. This is the way it's been. I've got a 20-year spreadsheet from our area that tracks it, which includes a time of great unpleasantness. It's now's the time to get it. And if you're not at 6%, you're at 4%, your house is a little cheaper.
Exactly. And on top of that, for the folk, and we're just offering guidance here, for the folks that are renting, your rent's going to uptick in this market. We'll ask Joe what he's seen for other markets. I mean, we're hearing horror stories in Manhattan where you're seeing double-digit plus rent increases year over year. In this market, you're in the 4 to
people
9%
are camping out
range.
in the streets. Literally camping out. Yasmina was telling, my daughter was telling me, in
Manhattan.
Manhattan, they're literally camping out in the streets waiting for like you would go to a concert, right? That guy.
To get first in line for rentals.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a no-brainer to jump in the market and buy. What are you seeing from rent upticks, macro standpoint?
Look, I don't track, we were talking about renters, but I don't track renting as much, but you do see renting going through the roof across the country. I mean, that is anytime I'm picking up an article I'm reading, it's just more expensive to live. It's just everything is just leading you. If it's more expensive to buy a house, if it's more expensive to renovate a house, it's going to be more expensive to rent a house. I mean, it's, when an investor comes in and they buy a multi-unit place and they fix it up, if the price of lumber or the price of sheetrock has doubled in price, guess what's going to happen to your rent?
And then
they're not eating it.
Let's talk labor.
Right. Labor costs, exactly.
Yeah.
Find a contractor now to do a renovation on a house. It's nearly impossible.
Yeah. We've got a couple of great ones. One would Intrastate Service Company, and then one of your clients that are as an expert.
Yeah, Intrastate Service Company, our client, guys, a home's best friend, ISC, guys. One of the presenting sponsors of the show. We'll welcome Khalid Ravashay to the program. I hope I'm not getting your name incorrect. Madison, New Jersey, Director of Franchise Sales and Membership Development at Better Homes and Garden Real Estate. Matthew Small is giving Joseph Gentile some props. Give some comments in the section, and I'll relay them on air. Joe, I'm going to throw this to you here. Here's what's happening in this market, and we've talked about this on Real Talk so many times. Assessments in the city of Charlottesville went up 11.7% year over year. 11.69%.
Let's call it 12% for simple math.
12% for simple math. City council, local government, we're not pointing fingers, we know the rules here. Yesterday, I follow you very closely. I respect you too much to not abide by the rules. Okay. City council yesterday is literally advertising a 10-cent real estate tax rate increase. So at the same time, assessments went up 12%. 10-cent real estate tax rate increase. At the same time, 7% inflation is trending at the same time.
So here, I'll take this full circle because I know where you're going with this. The first-time home buyer is completely handcuffed. And we spoke about this the last time I was on the show, and it's, look, we should take a moment to congratulate Keith on the Riz Media Award. But we'll get to that in a second. So, I mean, first-time home buyers have gotten decimated in this market, because they don't have the capital to go out and purchase a home, and it is getting.
I'll just add to that. This client I'm trying to help over the weekend, I just lost. I can't get into details, but we came in second place, and the reason we lost it was the buyer come in had 50% cash down.
Yeah. If you have a weak offer,
no appraisal, because it drops the appraisal out. No home inspection.
They waived the home inspection contingency.
Zero home inspection.
Is that out of market buyer? Can you offer that?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay.
Right. I won't know until it closes. All I know is we came in second, and we did the best we could with the tools that we had available to us. But how can you, when it's 50% down, it automatically waives the appraisal requirement because they have so much cash in it, and it's like basically it's a cash deal.
This is
tears,
insane,
by the
right?
way. The young lady was in tears.
I mean, think about it's almost rendered an FHA loan useless, a VA loan useless, because all those types of loans come with all sorts of contingencies. So
Joe, how are we going to fix this? Right? You're. I know we talk about this all the time on the show. I feel more inventory, more new construction, more product in the ground will loosen up the resale. Are you seeing that in some of the other areas that you work in the country? Is there any place in the country that is going in the right direction as inventory?
I haven't. If there is, I haven't found it.
Yeah,
it's there. Look, inventory is look. You've seen some foreclosures that's helping, but in order for it to really help, I think that the stats on foreclosures was crazy. So there was a month over month increase, like 20-something%.
But
year over year was 102%.
But 102% of what, right?
Right.
So
right.
So that we don't want to scare the heck out of people, right?
The concept, though, is there are homes that are being foreclosed, though. Before, there were just hardly any to none.
So are they actually being foreclosed on, or they're starting the foreclosure process and the lender is saying, put this on the market? That's what's really happening. They're not going through the whole foreclosure process, because for a lender, it's stupid. It costs them a tremendous amount of money to foreclose it. But if this coffee cup has...
Is it going to cost the lender a tremendous amount of money?
Sure.
If a lender had a house right now to sell, they're not making up the amount of money that they went through with legal fees and for the outstanding loan balance.
It's tens upon tens of thousands of dollars. You just force the seller, the owner of the property, to sell it.
But they recoup that in the foreclosure if it's there.
Yeah, it's
There's equity there. They're taking all that money back.
Yeah, I just think the path to getting rid of their asset is easier just put it on the market and sell it. But what do I know? That to me is what I'm seeing out there.
So you're getting this question on the feed, and this is from Jennifer. Do they think that the foreclosures are going to add inventory to the market? You do not think that.
No. Let me quantify that. It will add inventory to the market, but it'll be minuscule. It will be a low number. This is not 2008. This is not 2010. Yes. This is not when there was 10 million foreclosures in the country on us. Which, by the way, we didn't experience a huge foreclosure crisis here. So if it's 10 units, I mean, my God, there's 79 units. Lake Monticello yesterday, which is a large development outside where I live.
Largest neighborhood community in our region, Central Virginia. He lives in over 4,300 rooftops.
Yeah.
It's basically a small city.
It is a full city. We got about 14,000 people that live there.
Yeah. Your own police force.
No bakery.
No bakery?
No bakery.
Someone should open one.
You know, they tried that.
They did?
Yeah. The ROI isn't there because 60 to 80% of Lake Monticello travels to Charlottesville, right? So you need to have people, this is a neighborhood thing, right? I grew up and, Brooklyn moved out to Levittown. I didn't go there. I went to my bakery in Levittown, right?
Right.
Which is better than this, by the way. But anyway.
Oh, wow. The man is bringing
I'm taking some stuff home with me.
Dude,
that's what I'm doing. It's all right.
Sounds like this is coming home with me, dude.
I had to do it.
Fighting words over
there.
there.
I had to do it. You think we were not going to let that go?
Yeah. But so I think what's interesting.
Actually, I went to my grandmother's in Bay Ridge.
The cookies are dynamite. This is my third one. Go ahead, Joe.
So I think the difference that
slide that back over this way.
No. Keep that over there now. That's it. You're in the timeout chair for the rest of the show. So
is Jonah texting you there? Is that the one?
So think about it though. Back when homes were foreclosed on the last time, they were all short sales, right? There was no value in them.
They were upside down.
They were upside down.
We needed to find what
to Keith's credit is if you're sitting in a foreclosure right now, the smartest thing for you to do is throw a for sale sign on it, get out, and you can put some shekels in your pocket. You don't have to worry about the bank.
So let's walk that back a little bit. The smartest thing to do.
Talk to your loan provider first.
Remember?
The loan providers aren't. They just cut you a break for the last 2 years.
Let us talk.
What more of a break you go and they ask the loan provider?
That's a good point. Point.
No, the step number one, don't panic. Right, that's number one. Because that's what people do. Oh my God, I can't pay my mortgage. I don't know what to do. Step number two, reach out to a trusted advisor, a real estate agent, your loan officer that you got your loan from, not your service provider, because once you start doing that, that opens up a different path. Pick up the phone, call Joe, call Keith, call Scott Morris, call whoever it is and say, look, man, I lost my job, whatever. Get in front of it long before it becomes a problem. Once it goes in the system, it's out of your hands. Right, so then you go and you call up Joe, the trusted advisor, and Joe says, "Look, I can get this much for your house. Let's do it now. Let's pay. We do what's called an ROI on it, and say, here's your closing costs. This is how much you owe. Let's put 50 grand in your pocket or whatever the number is. Let's go find you something else."
You're basically saying there's no better time. No one wants to be in this position, but there's no better time.
God forbid you're
in this position. There's no better time to be in this position than right now.
Correct.
And I will tell
you could walk away whole with money in your pocket.
Yeah,
most of the time.
Right. And I come from a very personal place on this. Right. I've been through this personally.
And you've outlined it on the show.
I've been through this before. This is super unpleasant. There is no rules, and they come after you to hurt you. So if you think you're upside down, reach out to Yona and I. Reach out to a trusted advisor. Let's sell it. You could not be in a better position to do that. The last time it was around, you owed $100,000 on the house and it was worth $50. Right now, if you owe $100,000 on the house,
$120.
It's $150.
Right. We got San Francisco, California in the house via Searingtown, New York. Someone who went to high school with Joseph Gentile, the man of the hour. Toby
Post
Wise.
some pictures.
Toby Wise, give us the best Joe Gentile story.
Did you have hair back then?
I did have hair back then. I was not always bald.
I love it.
Joe is A+ people. Toby Wise says this: waiving the inspection contingency isn't as crazy as it seems in a hot market. just try to get the house inspected before you make the offer. Just ask to get the house inspected before you make the offer. Most sellers will let you do that. And hi to Joe, we went to high school together.
Yeah. Is that from California?
This is from San Fran.
Yeah, so California is a little bit different than Virginia. I can tell you this particular deal that I worked on this weekend.
There's no way that would have flown.
Well, we did it because A, I'm a Class A contractor. B, I actually brought a home inspector when we went to go look at houses. We went and looked at a half a dozen homes, and we hired a home inspector to tag along with us for the day. And we looked at that and we evaluated it in this half hour we were in the home and said, look, we're good. There's really nothing.
That had to be Yona's idea.
I mean, that's a great idea.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, you're bringing that's a great idea.
Good zing.
Yeah.
Are we playing zings now?
No, we're not playing zings now. You just,
he gave you props. He said that was a great idea.
No, but he said Yona told me to do it.
I mean, that's a compliment to you.
That's why he's here and Yona's teaching classes right
that's
now.
exactly. He's eating cookies and drinking coffee.
Apparently,
right now.
I'm not drinking cookies.
All right. Here are the cookies. I'm sliding the cookies over to here.
I don't want them. I don't want them. You hurt my feelings.
So hold on. So go back. So take it back a half a second. So we were talking about first-time home buyers, right?
I'm staring at cookies.
And the program. There's a now I don't know much about this. I'm curious if you've heard about this or you. There's a program out there, and it might be from Annie Mac, that the bank actually buys the property and then finances it to the buyer. Because it's a first-time home buyer program that's coming into play. And it's the first I heard about it, this was yesterday. I was trying to research it this morning.
So
I didn't
these
much
are
about
people
it.
that are upside down, or this is a straight
No, so
up
it's just so you're a first-time
home buyer vehicle.
Because you can't go in and make an offer at 97% financing.
Interesting. You know what they do in Europe? That's exactly how they do in Europe.
So he's basically saying it's hard to beat the bank. The bank is the bank, and then the bank sells it back to
the first-time home
buyer
at a 97% LTV.
So what the bank is trying to do?
What's the collateral?
There is no collateral. They're just paying cash for it. The bank has the cash. They're just buying.
Okay, so if the first-time home buyer defaults on the payment, obviously the bank.
It's still a mortgage.
No.
They
get a mortgage.
Okay.
It's just the order of operations is turned around.
Understood.
So the bank is going in. So instead of there being a weak offer on the table, it's a strong offer. The bank is offering 100% financing for the house. They're buying it first, and then they're financing it to the buyer.
So I know a little bit about this because this
idea.
is how we bought and sold property in Jonas' home place in Austria. That's not uncommon. Actually, the banks do this quite a bit. So the best way to think about that program, this is like you see the sign on the side of the road, I buy houses for cash,
right.
Or what Zillow was trying to do with the iBuyer program. The bank just comes in and Jerry puts his house on the market or whatever it is, and they say, you know what, Jerry, you have it on the market for $1. We'll give you 75 cents cash and close in a week. And Jerry goes, great, thank you. I'll take the 75. Get no inspection, no nothing. They'll turn around, put it on the market, sell it to Joe for $1. Now, that crosses a few RESPA laws and stuff. I don't really know how that actually works.
I'm not 100% sure how.
But we got a guy coming on tomorrow that might be able to answer that question.
Scott Morris, Ross Mortgage. So multiple people are following up on the foreclosure issue. And they want to know specifically from you, Keith, will we see more inventory we can look at from a foreclosure standpoint in this market? You're saying no.
Yes, but it's not big numbers, right? And that's what I was trying to get out earlier. Lake Monticello, I didn't look at this morning, but as of yesterday, had 8 homes for sale out of 4,300 homes.
It's bananas.
Had 8 homes. I've been there since '87. Right. I remember when I first moved there in '87, there were 600 homes and 300 were for sale.
And his guest that he on yesterday, Maggie Gunnels, had what, 3?
She's got 3 more coming in.
She literally came on the show yesterday, talked to Keith. Keith showed her data, and she said live on air,
I'm not charging enough.
I'm changing my listing price of these homes after hearing the data and chatting with Keith. That's literally what happened.
Well, that's what's happening when you're a trendsetter, right?
You are a trendsetter, and that's a perfect segue. But that's literally what happened.
Yeah. So exactly right on that end of it. But if you took a look in those numbers a little bit more, there was really only 4 of the 8 that was really for sale, right? Because they were between 0 and 15 days on market. I can't remember the exact number. Everything else was 60, 90, 100 days. As what did Maggie say? They had fundamental flaws in them. In the home, so there are the price, features, conditions, or whatever. If they haven't sold in 60 or 90 days, they're not selling.
Well, we also said that there's no better time to list a home with fundamental flaws, and that could be a number of things, than also right now.
As long as it's priced right.
Yeah,
right. Because price does matter now.
It absolutely does. So there's a house around the corner from me. it sold. It needed work, so it was like all original. So it needed a real updating. But it sold for $800,000.
You know something? This is really great what we do.
So hold on. So listen to this. So they come in, they blow it out. They not blow it out, but they renovate the inside of it. They put it back on the market for 1.2 million, and it's been a matter of months. So it sold over the summer. It's now back on the market for 1.2 million, but it's sitting there for 2 or 3 weeks. So this guy can't get his money back on the house because he can get his money back. He's going to make money, but it's not priced right. The house isn't a $1.2 million house. I know what a $1.2 million house is, and this isn't it.
Well, $1.2 million house where, right?
It's relative.
It's relative.
Super
But
relative.
I'm just saying, when you look at it in terms of those things, you can't just throw any price out there and people going to bite. The price has to be the right price.
Always matters to the market.
Well, and
always.
The most startling thing that I found from yesterday's show was the Rivanna Village talk, where she talked about new construction, Ryan Holmes' new construction.
Flipped in a year and a half.
Less than a year and a half.
Yeah.
New construction.
Which is unheard of.
Over $100,000 appreciation and earned value by the seller. In a year and a half on new construction,
New construction.
That's bananas.
That's crazy.
That is crazy, right?
Yeah.
Because new constructions normally take super long for you to get that kind of appreciation because you're paying top dollar.
Well, first and foremost, a development like that under normal circumstances would not build out in the turnaround that it did. It usually takes 5 years, 10 years, depends on the size of the project. And the rule of thumb always was, you don't try to resell while they're building new houses, because why the heck would I buy an old house when I can buy a new house?
Right.
With all that stuff. But that whole axiom, that whole thinking is out of the market. And I'm smiling because the client who lost the deal that I told her this morning just sent me a text watching the show and thanking us for all that we did, and she's ready to go out and see more houses. That's the right attitude.
That is the right
That's
attitude.
the right
Absolutely.
attitude. Let's keep on going. This is house number 2. We'll just keep on plugging. But she knows who she is, so I just wanted to say thank you for the kind words.
Thank you for watching the program as well. Question for Joseph Gentile: how often are you seeing the home inspection completely waived?
Oh, that is like the norm now. I mean, it's actually it's very rare to see somebody get a home inspection on a house now. Because as soon as you ask for it, then that weekens your offer. You have to come in, you have to offer over asking price, waive inspection, hopefully cash.
To go back to the foreclosure question, which I don't think I have ever answered, it'll be minuscule percentages.
In this market.
In this market. But even in places like Phoenix, right? Even if there's a large number, there's so much inventory lacking of inventory that it's just, unless you get to these multi-10 million, 5 million foreclosures.
It would have to be in bunches, right?
And if that happens, the whole market is screwed up.
Jim, Iggy, MC, Joey, what area are you guys talking about in New York? Jim, Iggy, MC is asking you right now.
The New Hyde Park.
Yeah. Jim, Iggy, MC, welcome to the program.
New Hyde Park is right.
New Hyde Park. That's what.
I know that. You're right up.
It's actually right around the corner from me.
And you're right. And you're right up against the Queens border, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, 4 miles.
Yeah, 4 miles from Queens. Yeah.
Throw this question to you guys: where will the foreclosure crisis? I don't know if the word crisis is fair.
It's not a crisis.
It's not a crisis.
No,
but the comment is: where will the foreclosure increase impact the most? Can we say second home markets that it would impact the most?
No, because if I own a second home and I can't afford to pay it and the inventory's so low, I'm just going to call Jonas Smith and say, list it, give me my net profit out of it, and I move on. The biggest problem I'm going to have with that is a 1031 exchange, and what am I going to pay on my taxes? The inventory, as I explain it, the buyer pool is the deep end of the Olympic high platform pool, which is like whatever it is, 20 feet. The inventory right now in our area is the kiddie pool, which Yona makes me swim in, by the way. I'm not allowed to go outside of it, on that end of it. So foreclosures might make that 19.8 deep or 19.6 deep, right? The only way to really do this, and it's just not me speaking, this is Dr. Yoon, these are all these smart people, the stuff that I devour, this information, new inventory needs to increase. Otherwise...
Jerry, you were just talking about renters that are renting properties, going out there and Airbnb-ing a rental property. The second home
multiple
market,
friends that are doing that.
Right. The reality is the secondary market, the second home market, it is genius.
So here's the business model for those that are watching, and then I'll get out of the way of Keith and Joe. Multiple friends of mine are getting 2 2 and 3 year leases on rental properties. So they don't even own these properties.
Yeah,
They do not. The landlord
as long as the lease says you can do it.
This is bananas. This is what the model is. They are renting them for 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
They're locking in the price for a 3-year period. The landlord is taking care of everything from a maintenance standpoint.
Sure.
Does not care what they do with it. And then half the time, because I believe there's something in the code that says you have to have. Now, that's the question thing is about the code because they're not living there. They're Airbnb-ing these rentals.
So we need to be a little careful because some of this is crossing some lines here because you're 100% right.
Because they have to live there half the time, technically.
There's a period of time that you must
180 days, I believe.
I don't want to, and if Neil is watching, he can sure as heck pull out the code and chapter on that end of it. But there are requirements there, right, to go ahead and do this. And there are enforcement officers in the
check this out.
In the city, in Albemarle County in particular.
That bust balls.
That will go ahead and look at this thing and follow through on it. So you need to make sure you're really doing your homework and you're following the rules.
Yeah.
But as long as you're following the rules, it's a genius business
So
model.
they are VRBOing or Airbnb-ing these rentals for 15 days a month and charging obscene amounts of money, and the difference is their profit margin, and they're not even paying to maintain the properties the landlords
So an even
own.
better business model, which keeps you completely out of trouble to do all that kind of great stuff, rent it to traveling nurses, right? Or incoming professors that are on a short period of time, or whatever staff, for a 6-month rental. That keeps you, I believe, if it's over 3 months, then it's not considered short-term.
That's correct.
Short-term rental. So
So you sublease the lease.
You sublease, and as long as you bake that in your
It's so
lease.
crazy. Sublease the lease.
Yeah, but back home, that's done all the time. You sublease apartments. I grew up around that crap.
And they're fixing the overhead over a 2 to 3 year standpoint, and then utilizing the volatility in the market to make money off it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think that the money lies in the shorter term rentals. I think the longer term rental, I believe. Again, I'm not involved in it, but I believe the
shorter the rental, the higher the
higher the margin.
Higher the margin. And as long as your lease allows you to do this, and you don't have HOA issues or something along those lines, it's a genius business model.
And then we get back to this, and we
Gotta follow the rules,
this before the show. Why wouldn't the landlord be doing that themselves? And we came up with an answer why.
Yeah, maybe the landlord just isn't interested in it. He's happy with his she is happy with her $3,000 a month, and that's that. And the box is checked, and they have multiple ones of these, and they just keep on.
It's the hand in the cookie jar, right? I'll take this amount of money. 100 times in this unit. If you want to take one of those units and go out there and sublease it, go right ahead. If you want to try and make a couple extra dollars, but over the long haul, maybe you won't, but you'll still owe me $3,000. Yeah, so.
So the risk you take in 3 years is if the market does a reverse, you're on the hook for at least for 3 years.
Right.
Well, we can say in this market, now no one has a prediction or crystal ball. That ain't happening in this market.
I don't.
Don't you think?
No.
Not with the university here.
No, I mean, again, this is all. Oh, look at that green over there. The inventory needs to increase substantially. I read an interesting article, Jerry, on in CVille Weekly this morning about this next step process with the FLUM and zoning. So they've actually started that process with staff. So hopefully some public comments and input.
So Neil Williamson is watching here. Is this where he's going to say that he's going to win this bet with you?
Oh, I know he's going to win this bet. I've already bought the bottle of booze. And by the way, Ned Galloway and Neil Williamson will be here on Friday. They both confirmed, so this will be a lot of fun.
Ned Galloway, Board of Supervisors, Albemarle County. Jim says the neighborhood in NHP has changed. Many of family have moved out in New York. And tell Joe, Jimmy McCartan says hi.
Oh, there you go, Jimmy.
Jimmy's watching the program. I believe you've known him since grade school, right?
Yes.
Grammar school.
Grammar school.
Giving you some props right now.
A long time ago.
I
was the same height, though.
Dana Marie Miller giving you props. Sandra Lopez giving you some props. 7 states watching us across social media, thanks to the incredible influence of Joseph Gentile on this show.
And Pearl certification.
So we're going to get to an incredible award that Keith Smith just earned.
Oh, don't embarrass me.
We're going to embarrass him.
Have a cookie.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
have
brought
a
you
cookie.
cookies to
I'll eat
congratulate
the cookie while you guys are doing that.
Neil has this for us, though, on the short-term rentals. Keith, get ready for this. So Neil Williamson is the president of the Free Enterprise Forum. He's very much a housing advocate. and he utilizes his massive reach to champion more rooftops in the community. He says short-term rental is defined as less than 30 days per state code, gentlemen. Localities determine how long short-term rental owners must or must not live in the space. In development areas, Albemarle requires owner to be on site at all times.
Yeah.
So on all times, that's from Neil Williamson.
So that's in Albemarle County.
That's Albemarle County.
What about the city?
That's a great question in the city. And I know Greene County, which I believe, Neil, you do live in Greene, is much more welcoming to VRBOs and Airbnbs. So I'm curious in that perspective.
So just to put a
Sir
little
Williamson.
perspective to that, so the state says 30 days. If a jurisdiction does 6, it can go higher, it just can't go lower.
Yeah.
Right. It can't do it for 15 days. It can.
Well, in this building here, third floor is penthouses. Our HOA board has limited short-term rentals in this building to 14 days.
Yeah, so then there's the HOA portion of it, and it depends on what's recorded and the deed of restrictions and all that kind of great stuff.
Okay, so I think we should embarrass Keith Joe Gentile.
So I eat my
Yes.
cookie now?
Yeah.
Well, no, now we're talking about you. So then,
Joe Gentile, let's you start, my friend.
look, Keith contacted me earlier this week to let me know that he was the recipient of the Riz Media Newsmaker Award, which is, look, I'm very proud to actually be sitting next to you after having won this. I mean,
I'm in
it
your
is-
company. Oh my God.
Yeah, this is a phenomenal. It's a phenomenal thing. This is Jerry. I don't know if you're familiar with Riz Media, but
They're big
this
time.
is big time. This is
Yeah.
a national publication. Better Homes and Gardens Real Estate launched their brand, in part using Riz Media. This is a phenomenal award. So congratulations. I'm proud of all the work that you do.
Top 30
but also
trendsetter in the United States.
It's
Who knew?
Jesus.
Who knew? My
Keith
daughter.
Smith, top 30 trendsetter in the United States, according to the publication or brand of record. One of two, I believe. It's this in Inman.
Inman, yeah.
Inman. So this is a huge deal. This is essentially the Forbes of Finance, Riz Media of real estate.
Yeah.
What Keith Smith, the honor he just earned. And I want to acknowledge this as well. And did we look into this? The only one in Virginia?
As far as trendsetters, the only other Virginia one is at a National Association of Realtors. So there's a couple of National Association Realtors, which technically they live in, Northern Virginia and that kind of stuff.
And,
But,
and
yeah.
the only one we do know with confidence and conviction in the Central Virginia market.
Yeah,
Yes.
I
Keith
don't.
Smith.
I don't. The Catholic in me does not want to pat my own back and on this stuff, but this is awesome. This is a recognition of 35 years of work. This is a recognition of what Jerry and I have been doing for almost 3 years. It's a recognition of all our sponsors that sponsor our show, that we wouldn't do this, but this was all blind to me. I had no idea.
He was nominated without his knowing for this.
I did not know about this, and those are in this space. We get these things periodically. I know Jerry does it. Hey, send me your headshot. You've been nominated for something, and generally the follow-up is, oh, by the way,
Open up your checkbook.
Give me $2,500
Yeah,
bucks,
right.
right? And
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was. But to be honest with you, as I found out the end of last week, I had multiple elected officials.
And this
local-
is not a pay-for-play award. Let's emphasize that right there.
No, it's absolutely not.
Yeah.
No, I had local elected officials blind to me, unknown to me, and nominate me for this. There was people around the country in the real estate space that nominated me for this, and to be named one of the top 30 critical thinkers. That's their definition of.
All right, now you're embellishing a little bit.
All right, I'm going to stop you.
It's in the
I'm
definition.
going to stop you right there. Just trendsetter, newsmaker, critical
in the
thinkers,
definition.
Keith. I'm going to let's pump the brakes slightly on it. It's just,
I knew that was going to get a little bit of a thing. Out there. But look, it says it right here.
why don't you throw in handsome too? One of the top third of most handsome realtors in the country. I can't believe I won that award. What else you gonna throw in there?
Best hair.
Jesus.
It says it right there. Critical
He's
thinkers.
number one at picking spouses. He's gonna just start making it up as we go along.
I'm going to eat my.
Crying.
Hey, Judah, how you doing, man? How you doing, Judah? Judah, how's your day going so far, man?
Oh God.
It's a amazing, though. I'm crying right now. But you become, and I'll say this. This is going to embarrass you a little bit, but this is very true.
That's the definition.
You have become, in a lot of ways, in the voice of real estate in the market with what you've done with this show, and for it to go from 45 days a week in 45 minutes one day a week in episode 1 to 90 minutes a day, 4 days a week.
Please do not add the 5th day. Mrs. Smith will divorce me.
It literally has become the voice of the market when it comes to real estate.
Look, and I truly mean this, other than being a critical thinker. Nobody's ever accused me of thinking, but anyway, look.
They just didn't know you. It was a national award. They just didn't know.
Oh, come on now. Well, they went.
Did you see his photo in the award? Yeah,
I love it.
No, all the other ones were the standard headshot, and Smith is in there doing the Cowabunga Hang Ten dude.
Judy, you should put that up.
Put the image, his profile picture up.
Well, that goes back to the thing. I thought this was BS. So they said.
And next thing you know, you're in printed publications that are going nationally to realtors everywhere.
1.5 million magazines.
I know. And you're doing this. And I can guarantee you when they're flipping through the magazine, they're like, oh my God, look at this guy right here.
He's got personality in it. What's wrong with showing a little personality?
I got to tell you, that photo got me a ton of phone calls in the last few days. Right, and requests to speak and different things. So,
can you show, as he puts the photo on screen? Can you show us what the photo? There it is, right there. Oh God!
So I sent them 2 pictures. I sent them my serious, normal.
Headshot.
The standard headshot.
Yeah.
And I said, this one. I said, and you pick. I thought I was messing with somebody who was wanting money from me. And darn it, they picked the one with the
Of course they did.
With the shocker.
So now, do you know what the trend is with real estate? So I have a lot of real estate agent friends out there. So if you're doing this, I'm asking you to please stop. So real estate agents are notorious for using like their high school photo.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, it's like taken like 40 years ago. At least it was an updated shot of my man here.
Oh, absolutely.
This was a real updated shot.
And I never understood the trend of using your photo from 10 years ago that was airbrush and Photoshop. Because when you go in real time to see the client, they're going to be like,
"Hi, I'm looking for Joe.
Yeah,
I have full hair."
Right? Yeah. Do you understand that?
I do not, for the life of me, understand it.
Never bullshit the public, because they are critical thinkers.
Absolutely. Well, and then they're going to see you in real time. I never understood that. Use an updated headshot. That is branding 101.
See, it says right there in the definition. Critical thinkers.
Critical thinkers. Okay.
I didn't make that up. It says it right there.
Let me ask you a genuine question here. How does it make you feel, Keith? It's on screen, Judah?
Yeah.
He's got the screen.
Yeah.
Look at the screen, everyone. Look at the screen.
I cannot tell you. I'm literally going to tear up here. I cannot tell you how honored I am and flattered. And I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound contrived. I don't think I deserve it. I really don't think I deserve it. And I really believe that in my heart and soul. I could not have been named top 30 critical thinkers, trendsetters in the United States without everybody in this room, without Mrs. Smith, without everybody who's been involved in what I do for 3.5 decades, from my mother to my father. I really mean that. I know this sounds like a contrived acceptance speech, but I just wake up every morning and put the best Keith suit on I can every day and just be me. And to be recognized for that is just, it's just off the charts. Those who have been watching the show for 3 years, almost 3 years now, for me to be speechless means something.
Well, and I will say this. I want to give you, again, props about this.
And I want to eat that cookie.
The real estate market and the realtor concept in general has very much changed with associating yourself with a big brand legacy firm.
Oh, without doubt.
And has now become individual brands. And you have done a phenomenal job of individualizing, localizing, humanizing, and personalizing your brand.
So Joe is a part recipient of this, because without Pro Certification sponsoring what you and I do 4 days a week, we couldn't be doing what we do 4 days a week. Every single one of the sponsors that run across the bottom of your screen, couldn't do this without you. I also couldn't do it without you, right? We came up with this idea 3 years ago, and lo and behold, we're getting people recognizing us nationwide. And I told you when we started this, I'd love to try to blow this up to be something more than here. And I think it's
become that. It's become that.
We've achieved
this comment from Nick. Keith is cool, trendsetter and headshots as well. John Steinbeck didn't think he deserved the Nobel Peace Prize. So you're in good company. Guys who deserve it but don't realize
Nobel
it.
or Nobel?
Nobel Peace Prize.
Noble.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's people like Nick. It's everybody that's on that feed.
Johnny Ornalis, proud of you, Keith. Dan
Thank you,
Pettit,
John.
an agent, proud of you, Keith.
Thank
Multiple prouds of you right now.
Thank you.
He deserves it. Well-earned recognition.
Well,
So do you know what's funny is he's gone on and talked about how grateful he is, but there are a lot of people on the call right now who don't know why he actually won the award. Like, what is it that you did locally that got you recognized? I mean, I think that's really important.
Well, it's everything. So what got me recognized locally is the years I've been putting in for affordable housing and trying to increase the housing stock and some of the boards and commissions I sit on. But the way that this works, according to them, is you get nominated, they look at all these different things that you do, and then they look at the social media footprint.
Sure.
And
I mean, how many realtors out there have shows 4 days a week at 90 minutes a clip,
Not many.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, that's trendsetting.
I'm trying to find them.
Yeah, right?
So yeah,
This
I'm
is-
trying-
there's one- I mean,
this
is
is
the only
great.
one?
I'm trying. Trust me.
I don't know
Caprice
if-
is working really hard on trying to find them right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, maybe this is done in other places in the country. I don't know.
No,
But
it's not.
Thank you. But that's how they started it, and then they start doing it. And I didn't know this. I was talking to Ned Galloway last night to set up his meeting. He's the former chair of Albemarle County's Board of Supervisors. He's still currently on the Board of Supervisors, and he was telling me that there was all these two-way communication between Risk Media and him over the last couple of months, asking him questions, and so apparently all that's been going on in the background, which I had no clue. And the next thing you know, I'm in a magazine with Lawrence Yoon, who's the
Chief economist
for
of
NAR.
NAR. Doctor.
Doctor, excuse me.
Yeah.
Guys like Brian
And-
Buffini and
And
heads
they
of radio.
and they noted you as a critical thinker.
Yeah, that's right.
Doctor,
Critical-
a chief economist.
No,
And they got Keith as a critical thinker.
Yeah.
Hey, I will give him.
Critical think this, man.
I will give him some props here. He is a trend-setting negotiator as well, and the dude's got street smarts out of the wazoo. Keith Smith
I'm
does.
not formally educated. I learned on the streets. And
This question's come in, and so
thank
congratulations.
you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
We
for doing it.
got
Thank
we
you
got
very much.
a talk show with some more ammunition we have to get out there.
Sure.
How about this question from Christopher? Ask the panel what trends they expect to see this year that are new in real estate.
Ooh,
Speaking of trends.
great question.
Well, look, I mean, for me, with our help, hopefully bringing energy efficiency to life in a home, having, like we were talking about earlier, making better decisions on your home to make it more comfortable, to make it healthier, to make it cost less money to run, et cetera. I really, and I believe it's a trend because people are spending more time in the house. So if we could bring this full circle.
That's an interesting train of thought. You're 100% right. That's what COVID has done. People are staying in their homes. They're staying in their homes years longer, right? The average is now up to 10. It used to be 5, right? And then, but they're also staying in their physical homes longer because of this hybrid Zoom town work kind of thing. Because you work pretty much exclusively from your home, right?
Well, yeah. When I'm not traveling, I'm 100% in
bringing
my
in
house.
treats.
And yeah, so I mean, my wife, every conversation starts off the same way. Well, we're eating dinner, and I'm like, and I was thinking about the house, and she rolls her eyes. She gives me the full eye roll. What are we doing now? What are you? Well, I'm thinking
Well, that's
about
part
doing
of the
this.
problem being in the house all the time.
But if you think I'm the only one that's going through
Everybody's
it,
doing it.
everyone's
Yeah.
doing it. So now you think about it from that perspective. People are in their houses more, and they notice every wart in it. They notice every draft that comes in. They notice when they're all of a sudden their thermometer, whatever, their thermostat goes down. Like, wow, it's getting chilly in here. Why is it getting so chilly so quick? So now, how do we fix those problems? And again, Pearl can help you on a pathway to make better decisions on your house. That is something that we do. And then once you do those things, we can help you sell it.
So I think you'll see the trends starting changing, which is going to be great for Interstate Service Company.
ISC,
and
home's best friend.
Pearl and
Well
all,
done, Keith.
all that fun stuff. Well, because I believe it to be the case. What's going to happen, I think you're going to start seeing people upticking their little fixes in their houses.
Oh, dude.
Just to add a little bit of
The
more
biggest,
value
some of the
to
biggest
it.
winners because of COVID have been the remodelers.
But I think you're starting, it was, the time of great unpleasantness. If you had a heartbeat, you got a loan. Kind of now, and I think you're starting to see with the inventory slightly increasing. It's not back to where I think it should be, but, you might have to do a little bit of extra to your house to command that price. Right? If you want to command that price, you might have to get Pearl to come in and matter of fact, you should get Pearl to come in and do that. You might get ISC to come in and paint and maybe jazz up your kitchen a little bit to get that money back out. I literally had the same conversation with We're putting solar on a house with Sigora Solar, another one of our fine sponsors of the show. And Yona was like, well, we were not going to replace the bottom HVAC system because it's not quite at the end of its life, but we've decided to do that because between Pearl and Sigora, we determined we can get this much more efficiency out of it. Mm-hmm. And, oh, by the way, when I go to sell the house, which may not ever happen, but when Mrs. Smith sells the house, we can go ahead and recover that plus some.
Yeah, there is no doubt. So, look, people need to make smarter decisions on their home. So, again, with solar, what's really unique to Sigora, and I don't know if we spoke about this when we were in there, what they do is they do an efficiency upgrade to the house first.
That's exactly right.
And then they drop solar on top. So they want to reduce your energy output. And then once they reduce it,
well, that's where we are with them.
Then they right-size, and then they right-size your... Right.
Put a new roof on the house, get your systems upgraded, because what they don't want to do is they don't want to put a solar system on there that is either oversized or undersized.
Correct.
On that.
Why pay the extra money for something you don't need?
I'll tell you, I'm working on bringing Tad and Sigora in because one of the things that this recent snowstorm and lack of power made me consider we're going to do.
Battery wall.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is I ran the numbers.
The battery wall can it power the entire house or a portion of the house?
It's
to be determined.
The battery is not large enough to power, but most of the time it's at night, right?
Right.
So how much energy, how much power are you using overnight?
And can it power the whole house at night? The battery wall?
You can't power the whole house. Like, you can't just have a party and throw all the lights.
Right.
So that's Tad, a question for Tad,
yeah.
But it's a matter of how many batteries you want to spend and add to on it.
But those batteries are expensive. I mean, they're not, you could add a significant amount of money to
but they're not, we
want
want Tad to talk about this because I want to run what we're doing in our house. But I will tell you, I did an ROI on adding one battery to our house versus a whole house generator. The battery was much cheaper. But to Jerry's point, it's certain key items.
Right.
That you could connect in your breaker panel. But
you're still pulling energy off the grid.
Right. Well, you're banking your energy.
You're banking your energy, and then if you need additional energy after your battery runs out, they're pulling from the grid. It's not like all of a sudden it's
right.
You're living in the 1800s where you get candlelight. Yeah.
Absolutely. And on top of that, the energy bank is now even more commoditized than ever. That's something that we learned from Tab, where people can sell the units of energy.
They
cannot sell them in Virginia? Are you certain about that?
That's changing.
Okay.
Yes, that was, but now the energy companies are becoming wise to it.
Oh, they have?
Yeah. This is now, because now solar's becoming more popular. There are people that are oversizing their system, they're selling it back.
They feel threatened.
Yeah, they're trying to change that.
So the best you can do is net zero.
Okay.
Right now, which is zero, right? You end up at zero. And that's really hard to achieve, right? It's super hard to achieve.
Oh, especially if you get an electric car. Casey, who you're going to meet later, right?
It depends on the home, right?
Casey has a beautiful home, and he was near net zero, and then he bought, he has the electric Mustang. And now that's gone the other direction. He loves it.
Yona wants that in the worst way.
So do I.
Really?
Yes. It is ridiculous. I drove it. It is
really?
Fast. It's not as fast as a Tesla, but it is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. And he actually is in line to buy the truck now. He's got the flatbed that he's purchasing.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, but I have my eye on the Hummer, but Mrs. Smith won't let me do it. She says you're not enough of a creative thinker to do that.
Yeah, this is critical.
No, it says creative. It says creative
now,
thinker.
Now he's throwing up
that terminology.
No, it says creative now. Look, how come it's in pencil, Keith? Because it's I made a typo.
Why are there erase marks right there?
Isn't that what you're supposed to use erasers for?
This question's come in. Does anyone know if tenants are asking for 2 to 3 year leases at set prices for the entire term of the lease?
Yeah, you won't see.
The landlord's got too much leverage to do
Yeah,
that, right?
no, it's the market is not there. You know, back in the time of great unpleasantness, you were having the same problem with leases, right, and stuff. You know, you may have snuck in that.
The landlord will give you a 3-year lease, but there'll be an escalator.
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
A minimum of a CPI.
Right. There's got to be, or they'll lose money because everything
So
associated that they have with the property is going to go up.
Put it this way: if you found a landlord that doesn't do that, sign the lease.
Yeah, do it right now. Oh, God.
No, buy a house. I think they're projecting, according to the National Association of Realtors, a 7.1% year over 2022 increase on rents over 2021. Gosh. So the stuff is just going up. Some of it, I'm sure, will be double digits. Some of it will be single digits, depending on where it's going. But you know, to go back to this conversation of leases versus own, you know, some people, that's just where they are in their life, and this is what they need to do, and that's what they need to do, right? God bless them. But on the other hand, you're not building any equity for yourself, right? You're not in that ownership track, and at the end of the day, you know, the landlord is the one that's kind of getting all the benefit out of it.
You got Bethpage, New York in the house.
Ooh,
Give you some
Bethpage.
props. Bethpage, New York via Chris Galino.
What's the name? What's the name of that? Oh, that park in, not Bethpage Park, but what's the one where they have like the 1700s little village? You know,
That's Bethpage.
I know it's Bethpage.
Old Brookville.
They have, and they actually have a recreation of the
Yeah,
1700s,
yes,
right?
yes.
And I remember as a kid going in there because you would get sarsaparilla and all this. I'm sorry, I went back to. But what's the name of that place? Somebody, the guy who lives in Bethpage will tell us.
Give us
that.
some props or some
Chris,
questions.
he has to know. Chris has to know.
Chris, give us the knowledge right there if you could.
It might be Old Bethpage Village. It might be
so
Old Bethpage
It
Village.
may be. So it's like
Put it in the comment section, Chris. If
So
you
it's
know.
the same thing as Williamsburg, Old Town Williamsburg.
Yeah.
They just have it set up. It was like a typical Long Island town back in the 1700s.
They do a really cool thing during Halloween. It's like I can't even tell you how many, but it's like 10,000 pumpkins in there, and they build these massive structures all over. They're all hand carved by the employees of the park, and they set them up to this walkthrough, and they're all lit up, and you walk through the village.
Lauren, I'm going to stop eating cookies.
Yeah.
Say that again. That could be it. It could be it. Yeah.
Village Restoration, Judah Wickhauer. our
Sorry, I
director.
went sideways on you.
No, we like it. We like when the show goes. All right, Joseph Gentile and Claire Crane, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey, Claire.
Anybody else that has comments or questions that they want to put in the feed, please do. Mickey Spain, giving you love, the Director of Strategic Growth at Realology Expansion Brands, giving you love today. Joe, anything else you want to highlight for the show?
No, listen, I appreciate you guys bringing me on. As always,
You're awesome
I
in this setting.
listen,
Seriously.
I absolutely love coming in here. This is one of my favorite trips that I get to make, and hopefully we get to do it more frequently. And it's not all that often that you get to sit right next to a critical thinker like Keith Smith,
Creative.
award.
Look,
Handsome.
Joe, do you
hold
need
on.
your eyes?
Let me see what he has. Hold on, there's a whole list of adjectives. Handsome, charming. So, I mean, I truly love coming in here. You guys are terrific. I appreciate what you do for Pearl Certification. I appreciate what you do here locally for CVille, and I love being a guest here, man. Thank you so much.
I love you, brother. I love you. I love you, and I love you. And I've never had a conversation with you that I didn't walk away feeling better about myself.
I
So thank
agree,
you.
dude.
So
He's
thank
the
you.
kind of dude that you want to post up at the bar or the coffee shop or the ball game with. He is A+ people. Joseph Gentile, Keith Smith, congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
And maybe some closing thoughts for the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, I could not have done this, received it, achieved this without countless numbers of other folks. All I am is the mouthpiece, and couldn't do it without you. I'm just blessed to be able to sit here and do this and be recognized this way. So I'm just, there's so many people in the chain of me achieving this that I just couldn't name them. First and foremost is this young lady named Mrs. Smith. That would be not my mother. Well, actually, it probably started with my mother. Easy. Mrs. Jonas Smith, my wife. But yeah, and if you can chisel that off into thanking her into a little sizzle reel, that would be my Valentine's gift to her. But
I think we can make that happen.
yeah,
We
no.
can make that happen
But
for
thank you guys. This is beyond. It has not sunk in. It really hasn't. And the phone calls I'm getting from some pretty notable folks in the space is really just blowing my mind.
Guys, this is Real Talk. We make content that is maybe not the most approachable, And we do that on social media, on these, which are in our hands constantly. That's the whole premise of the program, is to take content and make it digestible and approachable so you can learn. PearlCertification.com, PearlCertification.com. For Joseph Gentile, Keith Smith, and Judah Wickhauer, my name is Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk on the I Love CVille Network. Take care.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks
Hey.
for the thanks for the
Hey.
cookies, man.
Hey.
But I had to stop eating them.
That was amazing. That was excellent.